Hello everyone and welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel. Sienna Bacall debuts, Jill's Billy conclusion, Kyle crosses a line. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers for Tuesday, October 14th tease that fans will get their first glimpse of Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun. Also today, Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, does something dim-witted, and Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, makes a major decision regarding Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Fans of your favorite daytime drama Y&R, let's take a look at the ferocious action going on there. Genoa City rocks on. Kyle asked Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, in the episode that aired on October 13th where his ex-girlfriend Claire Newman, Hayley Erin, was staying in Los Angeles. Her daughter needs space from Kyle and is having fun with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, a different man, so this was an inappropriate request. She tried to convince Kyle that Claire requires her own space and privacy. However, Kyle is on a mission and appears dead set on hunting down Claire. Because it will be so beneficial to their relationship. Kyle is on a mission. Obviously, this is the last thing that Claire needs or wants. She deserves a break from Kyle, the man who slept with his ex in Nice, France, in nothing but a towel. Let's switch gears away from Claire's woe. Today fans see Sienna for the first time. She owns a Hollywood bar and gets a surprise when her old buddy Holden walks in with Claire. So what does Sienna do? She mentions Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva, Holden's old girlfriend and Claire's nemesis. Can Claire escape Audra? Talking about Audra is the last thing that Claire wants to do. She left town to get away from the snarky biatch and in a way she follows. Maybe a Vespa or 3 will help. What happens next in GC? Jill makes a decision about her relationship with Billy, her flaky man-child son, in another scene. Billy is the poster child for Nepo baby entitlement and is letting it dictate his life. Jill, Billy's patient mother, is, on the other hand, working to bring the peace back despite Billy's meanness. Let's hope it doesn't take a recurrence of her cancer to make Billy see the light and make amends. The show has mentioned her heart issues more than once in her brief return, including a visit to Snapper. Fans of Y&R, what do you think? Is this a sign that Jill will suffer a setback that will alter everything? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with the Young and the Restless right now. Come back here often for the hottest Y&R updates, news, and spoilers. Get comfortable, and gain access to the best soap intel on the web. The effects of restless hearts on Genoa's pulse. As the episode opens, Genoa City is once again brimming with personal chaos disguised as professional ambition. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, spirals emotionally, and his obsession with reclaiming Claire Newman, Hayley Erin, leads him down a path that could reverse the growth he has struggled to achieve. Jess Walton plays Jill Abbott, and Jason Thompson plays Billy, the erratic son whose erratic choices have put Jill's patience and love to the test. And in Los Angeles, Sienna Bacall, played by Tamara Braun, makes her debut, pointing to a possible shift in the show's direction, particularly for Holden Novak, portrayed by Nathan Owens, and Claire. The interplay between these stories gives Y&R a heartbeat of simultaneous emotional depth and thematic resonance. How to let go of past pain, how to seek connection without self-sabotage, and how to take responsibility when love turns toxic are all issues that each character is grappling with. Whether Kyle Abbott is a man on a mission or on the edge, Kyle Abbott's storyline takes center stage as his desperation becomes both his defining trait and his downfall. In Monday's episode, Kyle's conversation with Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, was already an alarming display of misplaced priorities. Asking Victoria for Claire's location, despite knowing she needed space, reveals not only his impulsiveness but also a dangerous inability to respect boundaries. Victoria, acting as both a mother and a voice of reason, reminds Kyle that Claire deserves the autonomy to find herself after the stormy end of their relationship. Yet Kyle, ever the impulsive Abbott, interprets distance as rejection and silence as challenge. He portrays himself as tone-deaf, a man who is so consumed by the idea of love that he cannot recognize his own toxicity, by insisting on finding Claire in Los Angeles. The irony, of course, lies in Kyle's recent behavior. His entanglement with his ex in France, an affair that played out under the flimsiest of pretenses and in the most compromising circumstances, remains fresh in Claire's mind. He treated their relationship as a revolving door of temporary satisfaction, not just because he emotionally cheated. His current crusade to fix things feels less like love and more like ego preservation. This Kyle, irritated, impulsive, and seeking approval, is tragically reminiscent of his past. Viewers have seen him repeat cycles of self-destruction before: his messy entanglement with Lola, his jealousy over Summer, his career struggles under the Abbott family shadow. Now, his pursuit of Claire is more about what she represents: stability, forgiveness, and the illusion of being the good guy once more than it is about Claire herself. Sienna Bacall enters the scene. Hollywood meets Genoa City. While Kyle's storyline spirals in Genoa City, a fresh spark lights up the screen in Los Angeles. Tamara Braun plays glamorous, sharp-tongued bar owner Sienna Bacall, who adds another layer of intrigue and unpredictability to the show's expanding LA subplot. The debut of Sienna, a character who immediately exudes confidence and complexity, feels like a breath of fresh air. Her establishment, a stylish Hollywood bar with a bohemian charm, becomes the new hub for Y&R's West Coast expansion. As Holden walks in with Claire, Sienna's surprise and quick-witted reaction instantly establish her as a woman who has seen it all and refuses to be rattled. The emotional weight of her past with Holden is compelling. Their banter, light on the surface, loaded underneath, hints at a shared past full of passion and heartbreak. But Sienna's decision to bring up Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva, Holden's ex and Claire's nemesis, immediately shifts the tone from playful to provocative. This single name drop is classic soap storytelling, one word capable of reigniting buried rivalries and triggering emotional explosions. Sienna's mention of Audra could be innocent curiosity or subtle manipulation, but either way, it puts Claire on edge. She left Genoa City to get away from Audra's drama, but here she is, in what was supposed to be a safe haven, reminded of her rival. Claire's dilemma, haunted by the past, seeking the future. For Claire Newman, this trip to Los Angeles was supposed to represent healing, a chance to reclaim her independence after being burned by both family expectations and romantic disillusionment. In contrast to her emotionally volatile relationship with Kyle, her chemistry with Holden has developed slowly and in a refreshing manner. Holden doesn't treat affection like a transaction and listens to Claire when she talks. But with Sienna bringing up Audra and Kyle determined to crash her new beginning, Claire's attempt to find peace may be doomed before it truly begins. This dynamic perfectly illustrates one of Y&R's most enduring themes: the struggle between escape and destiny. No matter how far characters run, they're inevitably pulled back into the web of their past connections. For Claire, Audra is not just a rival but a representation of her insecurities, everything she's been trying to outgrow. Claire fulfills Kyle's longing for unattainable redemption. And for Sienna, these intertwined lives might offer both opportunity and danger, especially if she becomes the new keeper of secrets in this tangled circle. Jill Abbott's heart versus ego of Billy. Back in Genoa City, Jill Abbott continues to face one of her greatest tests as both a mother and a matriarch. Her complicated relationship with Billy Abbott is one of the show's longest-running emotional threads, a constant cycle of love, disappointment, and reluctant forgiveness. In this episode, Jill's reflections on Billy's behavior reach a breaking point. Her son, who has struggled for years to find purpose and discipline, continues to self-sabotage under the guise of rebellion. Jill's efforts to maintain stability at Chancellor Winters and within their family legacy have repeatedly been jeopardized by his impulsive personal and professional decisions. The quiet heartbreak underlying Jill's words, not the shouting or the drama, is what makes this confrontation powerful. She's no longer angry, she's exhausted. Her patience has turned into grief, her support into resignation. Jill's decision to pull back from Billy, to stop enabling his cycle of chaos, feels like an act of both love and survival. Jill's emotional struggle is cleverly rooted in her health. In Y&R mentions of her recurring heart issues and her recent visit to Snapper are not just throwaway lines, they foreshadow potential tragedy. Jill's physical frailty mirrors her emotional weariness, suggesting that the next phase of her story might involve a life-altering health scare that forces Billy to finally confront his selfishness. For longtime viewers, this storyline resonates deeply because Jill's love for Billy has always been her greatest strength and weakness. She sees the best in him, even when he refuses to see it himself. Her potential setback could be the catalyst for Billy's long-overdue transformation or, in true soap fashion, his next devastating spiral. Thematic undercurrents, boundaries, redemption, and legacy. This episode of The Young and the Restless excels not just in plot movement but in its thematic cohesion. Each storyline, whether in Los Angeles or Genoa City, revolves around one core idea: the cost of crossing boundaries. Kyle violates Claire's request for space. Sienna toys with emotional boundaries by invoking Audra's name. Billy tests the limits of his mother's patience and health. Through these overlapping arcs, the show examines how love, when twisted by ego or fear, can become destructive. The characters' intentions are not inherently malicious. Kyle wants to repair love, Sienna seeks connection, Billy craves validation, but their inability to self-reflect leads to collateral damage. At the same time, Y&R balances this emotional heaviness with glimpses of hope. Jill's quiet strength, Claire's effort to rebuild, and Sienna's confidence all represent the resilience that has defined Genoa City's women for generations. These storylines pay homage to the legacy of female characters on the show: strong, complicated, and never afraid to confront pain head-on. Speculation: where the story might go next. With Sienna's debut shaking up the LA storyline and Jill's decision redefining her relationship with Billy, The Young and the Restless is clearly setting up for an explosive few weeks. Here are a few likely trajectories. Sienna and Holden's past revealed. Their connection seems deeper than casual friendship. Expect flashbacks or revelations about a former romance, perhaps one that ended because of Holden's involvement with Audra, or even something darker tied to his professional life. Kyle's obsession backfires. Kyle's pursuit of Claire could lead to a major public humiliation or a business setback. Victoria might step in to protect Claire, further straining family alliances between the Newmans and Abbotts. Jill's health crisis. Subtle foreshadowing suggests that Jill may experience a relapse in her health. This could finally push Billy into a position of responsibility, forcing him to care for his mother and reconsider his priorities. Claire's choice. Torn between her past with Kyle and her potential future with Holden, Claire may face a defining moment: whether to forgive, forget, or move on completely. Sienna's influence could also play a surprising role, perhaps steering her toward independence. Audra's return. With her name invoked in Sienna's debut episode, it's almost inevitable that Audra will reappear, perhaps drawn by rumors of Holden and Claire's connection or by unfinished business of her own. Why this episode works: emotional authenticity meets soapy extravagance. What makes this particular episode shine is how it balances over-the-top soap tropes with emotional truth. Kyle's desperation, Sienna's wit, Jill's sorrow each feels rooted in genuine human emotion even as the circumstances border on melodrama. The writing allows for both intensity and introspection, giving viewers the spectacle they crave while still offering moments of vulnerability and realism. Tamara Braun's introduction as Sienna Bacall is especially effective. She lends the younger energy of the show a mature, world-weary charisma. Her chemistry with Nathan Owens feels instant, but it's her potential to stir up both trouble and transformation that makes her debut memorable. Meanwhile, Jess Walton's portrayal of Jill remains masterful, layered, nuanced, and deeply human. She embodies decades of Y&R history, reminding audiences why the Abbott family continues to anchor the show's heart. Her scenes with Billy resonate not just as mother-son drama but as a meditation on the consequences of unconditional love.